This is my world.
Let's make it count.
I must practice stories.
Next, GSL Season 2, Renaissance. 2019 Mountain Dew GSL Season 2, Code S, Renaissance.
Right here, right now.
What is up, guys? Welcome to the GSL Code S. We are finally here. In the Final Four, it has been a very dominant showing from Protoss.
What are you talking about? We have a Zerg in here. Dominant would be for Protoss.
You're right. How dare I say that? But in all seriousness, Protoss have been really killing it here. You're right. We do have one Zerg. There is still hope that maybe we have a non-Protoss champion. But today, it's going to be a PvP.
Yeah, and a good PvP at that. We have two of our absolute best players as far as macro goes in the race of Protoss. I think these are two of the guys that you really think of other than stats to represent that. Now, does that mean that we're going to go over, I don't know, 45 probes? Probably not. But
will we have a third base? Probably not. But we'll see.
We could have a placeholder Nexus at a third base location. That's a possibility.
That's a possibility for sure. PvP has been, especially in the current way that StarCraft is being played, a very crazy matchup, a lot of proxies, a lot of deceptive play. There's many different branches and how you can open up. So in this best of 7, we should probably expect to see every kind of insane build come out here.
Yeah, I think that planning is going to play a big part. And when you look at who these players are, we have Trap, who has SOS on his team, so has access to every crazy strategy ever thought of, plus some that haven't been. And then you have Classic, who's basically the best prep Protoss we've ever seen. I mean, it should run the gamut.
Certainly. Classic has been steadily improving. At times, he's been the best Protoss out there, only to fall back a few ranks, I guess you could say, to other Protosses, such as Stats. But it seems like now he's better than he's ever been. A lot of people are saying he is the best player out of the 4 that we have remaining.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people expect
that.
Yeah, a lot of people expect him to go to the finals, but I think it is also very realistic that Trap could cause an upset here.
Possibly.
We're going to go to an interview
공허의
now.
유산이
It's translated.
시작된 이래
Enjoy, guys.
최대 이변이 펼쳐진 시즌2였지만 이 선수들에게는 이변이 통하지 않았습니다.
Please welcome
지난
to a
시즌에 이어
semifinalist,
2연속
Trap
4강에
Classic.
오른 김도우, 조성호 선수 만나보겠습니다. 자, 먼저 김도우
First,
선수입니다.
start with Classic.
2018년 슈퍼토너먼트 시즌 2
He made all the finals since 2018 Super Tournament Season 2.
김도우 선수가 있었습니다.
And now
정말
he's looking for another finals now.
이번 시즌도 결승 코앞까지 왔거든요.
You're now
어떠세요?
looking for another finals. How's your feeling?
네, 오늘 느낌 나쁘지 않고
I feel not
올해
bad.
계속해서 결승 무대에는
I made all the
가고 있기
finals
때문에
this year.
이번에도 이기고 결승
And tonight
무대에
again
갈
I
수
will
있을
make
것
another
네.
finals.
이렇게 실력도 받쳐주고 있고 돌아가는 상황도 김도우 선수에게 정말 좋다. 정말 절호의
current
기회다.
situation is
우승을
pretty good for
적기다
Classic.
이야기를 하는데요. 요즘 얼마나
This is the season that you're gonna make the victory.
사실 시즌 1
What does it
때부터
mean to you?
지금까지 거의 쉬는 날이 없을 정도로
From
계속
season 1 I
스타트만
didn't
하고 있고
have a rest day.
계속 하다 보니까
And
성적이
I
잘 나오는
practice
것
a lot.
같고 이렇게 또 성적이 나오니까
By practicing,
지치지
I made
않고
good
이렇게
results
계속
recently.
열심히 달릴 수 있는 것 같아요.
네, 열심히 달리고 있다
I'm
하셨는데요.
running now.
이번에는 조성호
Now we
선수입니다.
are interview
2019년
with
현재 김도우 선수와 함께 프로토스
He's
전성시대를 이끌고 있는
Protoss
선수죠.
was making
가장 기세가
tournament
좋은 또 한 명의
dominant.
프로토스로서 좋은 모습 보여주고 계신데요.
He's not.
자,
Trap is doing
지금 최전성기를 걷고
pretty good
계시잖아요.
recent days.
네, 4강도 두 번째로
You
올라오시게
made another
됐는데 두
semifinals.
번째 4강 소감은 어떠신가요?
How's your second semifinals this year?
저번에 첫 4강 올라왔을 때는 약간
Last season,
8강과는 다른 중압감 같은 게 약간
there was
있었는데
pressure on
그래도
semifinals.
이번에는 두 번째로 올라오다 보니까 좀
But this
덜 하는
is
것
my
같아요.
second season.
이번은 두
to the
번째 무대라서
semifinals,
좀
but I
다르다
feel
이야기를
much better.
하시는데요. 보통은 선수들이 경기가 끝나고 그때 팬분들한테 선물을 많이 받으시거든요.
Normally after the
오늘은
match, you got lots of
경기장
presents
대기실에
from the
들어오실
fans.
때부터 선물을 하나를 들고
You get the lots
들어오셨습니다.
of presents
어떤
from the fans
선물인가요?
tonight. How do you
빵이랑
feel?
이제 케이크를
And then what you get?
팬분이 주셨는데
I get
감사하다는
some
말
breads
전해드리고 싶어요.
and some
오늘
some
4강인데 잘
presents.
하라고요.
And the fans told me that
정말 힘이
please do
나실 것
well on
같습니다.
tonight.
자, 두 선수와 함께 더 이야기를
We're
해보겠습니다.
gonna
두
talk a bit
선수의 대결 정말 기대가 되는데 이신영 선수보다 조성우 선수를 원한다고
after round of
하셨거든요.
8, you said you
김도우
prefer
선수, 조성우
play
선수로
against Trap
확정되고
than
기분이 어떠셨어요?
innovations. After
어,
Trap defeat innovation, how do you feel?
라이브로 보고 있었는데
I was watching
제발
live.
성우가 이겨라 하고
I was
응원을 많이 했거든요.
really
성우가
cheering
이기고 나서
Trap to win, Trap to
결승이다.
defeat innovation.
생각을 할 정도로
And then after the match, I feel like,
마음이
oh yeah, I
편안했어요.
made to the finals.
네, 이번에도 결승 갔다 자신감이 생기셨던 것
He's
같습니다.
pretty confident
사실
with
이렇게 자신감 가질 만한 이유가
with
있죠. 2019년 오프라인 매치 기준 푸프전 패배가
there's reason for
없습니다.
reason for his
9승
confidence
0패
because he never lose to
와,
lose to
푸프전
Protoss in
변수가
this year.
많아서 힘들다는 말도 이제 옛말인가요?
What does it mean to you?
저도 연습 때는 풋풋전이 좀막
During the practice?
심리전도 많이 나오고 빌드 싸움도 많이 나와서
I get like mind
어렵긴
games
한데
and
대회
lots of
때는 성적이
build
잘
fights.
나오더라고요. 그래서 오늘
So
또
I didn't do
이제
pretty
대회다
well
보니까
on lines.
성적이 잘 나오지 않을까 싶네요.
네. 뭐
But I'm
커리어에서
doing pretty good
밀릴지언정 현재 실력, 기세에서만큼은
tournaments.
자신감 있죠. 자, 조성우 선수, 김도우 선수를 꺾기 위한 준비 어떻게 하셨나요?
Are you ready to defeat Classic?
그냥 팀원들이랑 연습 많이 했고
And what did you do
생각을
to
좀 많이
defeat
했어요.
Classic?
후전은 심리전이 워낙 중요하다 보니까 그리고
I practice a lot with
제가
my teammates.
최근에는 원래 제가 푸푸전이 좀 약점이라는 이미지가
In
있었는데
fact,
최근에
I
진
had
적도
weakness
별로
in
없고 많이
PvP,
보겠다고
but I
생각하거든요.
practice a
그래서
lot.
도우 형이랑 경기도 재밌을 것 같아요.
I think it's gonna
과연
be
오늘 그
fun match.
약점을 극복한
Play
모습
against
저희가 볼 수 있을지
Classic.
기대가 되는데요. 오늘 필승의 각오로 준비를 해오신 것 같습니다. 두 분 마지막으로 서로에게 한 마디씩
Both of you,
해보겠습니다.
do you have
먼저
any
조성우 선수.
last word to your opponents?
도우 형이랑
First
이제
trap.
대기실에서 얘기를 했었는데
I talked to
내일
Classic
시험을 본다고 하더라고요.
and
그래요?
네,
Cla-
의무검찰 시험을 본다고 하더라고요.
네.
그래서 오늘 제가
Classic
이겨가지고
going
결승전
to
생각할
take
필요
another
없이 편한
exam
마음으로
tomorrow.
볼 수 있게 해드리겠습니다.
I think I gonna
내일
make
의무경찰
Classic to
시험
make
집중하게
feel comfortable
도와주신다고
with
합니다.
tomorrow's exam because I'm gonna defeat him tonight. How about you, Classic?
당황하셨어요?
네, 저런 말을
Are
할
you
줄
flattered?
몰랐는데
네.
성호도
I didn't know
오늘
I
제가
didn't know whether
이기고
traps
나서
say that.
트럼프가 와서
네.
군대로 갔으면 좋겠네요.
네, 이렇게 서로에게
I
훈훈한
think
덕담 한
Trap
마디씩
also going to
주고받았는데요.
the
지난 8강에서
military
어유슬
service.
무패 기록을 깨고 올라온 김도우 선수, 마지막 테란 이신영 선수를 잡고 올라온 조성우 선수. 프로토스 전성시대를 맨 앞에서 이끌고 있는 두 선수의 대결입니다. 지금까지 김도우, 조성우 선수 인터뷰였습니다.
This is the interview, Classic and Trap.
너무 쉽게 깹니다. 너무 쉽게. 그게 김도우의 간절함인가요? 무전적 취재! 완벽한 준비성으로 김도우 선수가 준결승전으로 갑니다. 이대호 최후의 선수로 2연속 타격을 펼치 마지막 남은 지메어그리 X의 조성호가 준결승
All right, we're moments away from starting this best of 7. By the way, I love that video we made here.
Yeah.
You did a good job in production there. That was very cool.
It kind of does show what's up. It's actually something I didn't even think of is that he is the last generic Green Wings player.
Yeah.
And if you look at tournaments for the last several years, generic Green Wings is in almost every single finals. It
Yeah,
is
that's true.
absurd. There's so few tournaments that they haven't been in the finals of. But yeah, these guys, of course, both coming out of the top 4 last season. Of course, losing to his teammate last season in Maru to Trap, but here he is. Can he beat Classic in PvP? I think that right now, it's hard to say that anyone's going to beat Classic in anything.
It's just hard to imagine Classic losing. He's got such an improved Protoss that he's brought out here. You know, sometimes in certain seasons in StarCraft, you can say that really the player who's going to win has to be the best at one matchup. In this case, it's PvP. If you are able to be a top-tier PvP player, you're going to get deeper in this tournament because we had so many Protoss players that showed up. This might be the last PvP we have, though. I think on the other side of the bracket, Dark is slightly favored to move on. But this is going to be a tough one because even though I think Classic is so good, Trap is clearly somebody who can plan.
Yeah.
I like what you were pointing out with the fact that this is the last generic Green Wings player. He has the entire team backing him against Classic, who's a lone wolf. We've also seen it seesaw from players that are on teams dominating to sometimes solo players killing it. We saw this, for instance, with Bjorn, where the entire generic Green Wings team could not hammer together a strategy to take on his control.
Very true.
Maybe Classic is going to do that to Trap here, because I know that both these players put a lot of prep going into the series.
Oh, no doubt. This is probably the most prep they've ever been for anything, and it's PvP. We're about to start best of 7. The winner goes on to the finals.
That's right. We'll start off on King's Cove. Classic vs. Trap begins now.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings Trap.
I want to talk about a period of time from a long time ago.
Please.
About Trap that I found so fascinating at the time. And if you're a longtime GSL watcher and you remember things that don't matter very much, and this might be something you remember, but like back in Heart of the Swarm, we had a period with a lot of good Protoss players. That's just kind of, I guess, a period we've had in Korea a lot, but Shadows Gameworks Seattle. Oh, we've been there, yeah.
Oh yeah, we have been there.
Yeah, it was fun. We chased some nerds off the Street Fighter machine.
That's right.
They
showed
came
up
and they're like, I think I'll play some Street Fighter. Not against us, you won't.
We were a couple of
Get
thugs,
wrecked.
man, showing up in the arcade. Yeah. Those kids had to head for the hills.
They did. They were running out quarters or dropping out of their pockets. Well, you drop your quarters, and you can keep them. And they're crying, run out the door. Anyways, at that time, Trap was a clear Tier 2 Protoss. I wasn't quite saying yet. Even E-Mini wasn't saying that he was underrated at the time. He was like a Tier 2. Maybe even a bottom of Tier 2 Protoss. He wasn't, the same level as some of the other guys, Hero and all them. But he is someone that I actually made this argument for a little bit that playing PvP well was bad. And that was because the better players were all trying to stop everything, while people like Trap, that were a level down, were actually getting way increased win rates against them because they would just take an edge. They'd be like, I don't know, this can lose to DTs, but I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Right? So they wouldn't get observed with their blink, for instance.
So much cutting of corners.
And he was the poster boy for that at that time. Nowadays, I look at his PvP, which, by the way, you have a proxy Stargate. Don't want to skip over everything. But nowadays, his PvP, I feel like he's almost extremely good. But he sometimes, is he too addicted to glaives? I don't even know. I don't even know if that's the answer.
Glaives a lot.
He's a glaives guy.
By the way, wait, he did not actually spot that. He had a click to go there, but did not commit to that. I feel like we've seen Trap in several different iterations of himself. He doesn't seem to have, you take someone, we were mentioning Bjorn, for instance, earlier. Bjorn is somebody he's going to try to go for micro fights early on. You know what units he likes to use. I think Trap has gone through several different iterations of how he approaches the game and the matchup. And I think the one that we're looking at now is definitely capable of cutting corners, but also very comfortable playing very safe. Almost a little bit stats-esque at time. Although I don't know if that's necessarily as true in PvP.
Yeah, PvP is such a wild matchup right now.
Okay, so initially this Oracle comes in, 6 kills.
Ridiculous amount of damage. 6 kills off that Proxy Oracle. Of course, he was timed out for a non-Proxy Oracle there.
Yeah.
So that's painful. He even got it scouted that he's going for the Robo. So...
And from here, Classic throws down another Nexus. There's 2 Oracles over here, which it mutes the shield battery, basically. You could just zap down probes immediately because of the DPS. And we're going to see that now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Well,
that should make Trap feel a lot better.
Yeah.
I'm actually mildly surprised that the Nexus went down so quickly for Classic. Because he saw the Robo, right? And when you see Robo in the main base like this, it is undoubtedly going to be Stalkers with, you know, a Prism to just try to break you.
I think the idea was if he tries to come out and break him, the 2 Oracles can come in and just gun down the workers, and then maybe you just cancel, or you even sack the Nexus, throw it away, try to run up onto the high ground and just win in a game where you have a better, you know, economic engine going for you. But then he came in, I think, a little bit too eager there with the 2 Oracles, lost one. And he might end up being in an uncomfortable spot here.
Kind of makes sense. Like, he lost a lot of probes early on, so it's hard to super critique how he's playing. But if he went for the Robo already and he killed an Oracle, because I think you're probably right about trying to pin him in there, but you got rid of one of the Oracles, you have a shield battery. I feel like this might open up a chance for you to move across the map with your Prism and with your Stalkers and try to get something done. But instead, he's playing from a deficit in every single area right now. It's not like there's this one little special secret hidden area that Trap is ahead in right now.
Okay, nice little Adept harass here. Got to be careful not to get too ambitious with that Warp Prism. It looks like there's just not enough Stalkers to have any real impact, so we can actually maneuver that pretty freely here. And we're now in the phase of the game here where both sides are going to be incrementing out Immortals. And with the Forge there from Trap, I guess there's a nod towards a later game.
Yeah.
Here.
Yeah, I think he realizes that there's nothing he can really get done now. He's missed any sort of window that he might have had. And the fact that he's just going to go into upgrades, that's smart. Sit back, play defensively, make Immortals, get some upgrades. Maybe later on in the game, you know, there will be some sort of moment where you can come back now.
Yeah, I think going for the long play is definitely a good idea here. Trap just staying outside on the edges of this base. And he might try to do something tactical here, coming into the main and then just trying to gun down as many probes as possible. Keep in mind the Warp Prism is over there just on the side of our screen, and it actually gets shot down. Another misstep here from Trap. And I got to say, you know, it's one thing to lose those workers early on, to lose the Warp Prism again. And considering PvP tends to be pretty short, keeping Robo units alive is one of the most important things to be doing.
Yeah.
It's going to allow you to make easier decisions later on. For instance, losing that Warp Prism, okay, now do you make another one? Do you stop making Immortals?
Yeah, that's a hard one.
You immediately lose so many options there. So Trap having a hard time. Again, the game's not over, but Classic continues to eke out a lead.
Yeah. I like Classic's play in a lot more ways than this from Trap, right? Because, as you said, that does take up valuable build time there. It was kind of interesting in the way that he flew the Prism up on the side. It almost looked like one of these moves that you'll see oftentimes against Zerg, where you shade in a couple depths, kill a drone, and pop him into the Prism. But the main base isn't situated like that, so he hasn't really found that damage.
Classic has his Warp Prism just down here. I believe there's a blind spot inside the main, so he can actually unload, and it looks like he's not going to warp in, but instead come in here and just take some free hits. Yeah. I mean, losing a pylon is potentially the least impactful thing that could happen, but it's something, right? And I think Classic is being smart by trying to continue to squeeze out a little bit of an advantage without really any risk involved. He could have, for instance, tried to go for a Robo or gone right to where the workers are, but this is pretty safe what he's doing over here, as long as he doesn't lose that Warp Prism.
You know what's kind of interesting? Ooh, that was beautiful.
So good.
Yeah. You know what's kind of interesting here, watching this game unfold, is that Trap actually got up to a higher worker count than Classic, and, you know, just utilizing those adepts. So in some ways, he did end up recovering here, and he's got the same amount of Immortals, which is a huge part of this.
Yeah. We have more gates coming down here. I have to say, the fact that these tactics keep working,
oh my
and Trap
God.
has no way to assert himself right now, this is, I think, going to get worse and not better here for Trap.
Yeah.
I'm trying to go for the Warp Prism, but you can see the Immortal actually blocks the way, and with the Warp Prism pickup range, he just easily gets that out. Now, we have that Warp Prism remade over here for Trap. He's going to try to come in and get some P-Tech here. Let's see how Classic handles this.
It was pretty messy to try to handle. He did repower that Stargate, so it might even be worth his while to make a Phoenix out of it.
That's a good point.
Oh, he actually already did.
Yeah.
Never mind. There it is.
Charge is on the way here. Already finishing for Trap, but Classic's a few seconds behind.
Yeah, both sides going for that +2.
Look at the combination of this. The Oracle with the Immortal and the Stalker Warp Prism. It's really tough to figure out what you want to target down, right?
Isn't that
we
weird?
haven't really seen this before.
No, we've never seen it before. It's never happened.
And now that we're looking at it, I feel like this makes complete and total sense.
It's so
you lay the trap, right? They might want to target that, but then the Immortal and the Stalkers are doing so much damage. You're obviously very tempted to get the Warp Prism, but if you try to attack into the Warp Prism, the Stasis Ward can get set off and freeze your army anyways. It's like, how do you really deal with this?
Yeah, I guess it should be pointed out that this will only work against a Robo opening when you think of it. Because if you went Blink, you'll stop it, and if you went Stargate, obviously you'll just make a Phoenix against this. But what a very interesting play here from Classic.
But if you have a game that pans out with Robo play, this is probably what you want to do.
It seems cool. If the game progresses like this, where no one can really do too much to each other.
He's getting worker kills, and he's also freezing workers. It's like, he's getting the best of both worlds. Now, Trap is going to try to come out here for a timing attack. Classic is in the process of acquiring a third. The question is was all that harass, all that damage that Trap took, did that actually slow him down enough? Because two base, he's going to cancel.
This army is not a joke.
No, this is
a serious army.
Yeah,
through that choke though, it's a little bit of a joke.
I don't think he can push this much further. I think it was worth it for Classic to try to expand, but he can't push this issue any further. And of course, two base on two base, Classic still has a steady lead. Unpowering those gates too.
Yeah, it's a big deal. And, both of them sitting here with a +2. Looks like Classic has 5 Immortals against 2, so with stats like that, I mean, yeah, you have an Archon lead, but the Immortals end up being worth so much in these battles.
It's a little suspect, that Zealot attack there. I don't think he was quite paying attention.
I think he thought he might chase him to the third or something, and then he can get some harass done, but
okay.
I feel like Trap has had the door shut on him so many times now.
Well, I think the way that this game should go from here is Classic just expands again.
Yeah.
Trap denied the base, but he did it at a cost. He lost workers, many of them. He even lost some pylons back there. And Classic, I think, simply expands again and waits. It says, go ahead, try to attack into me again here.
Yeah. You know what? This Immortal Harassment, I mean, it's definitely doing a job. Maybe, though, do you think Classic might need to attack? Because if he just expands again, doesn't this give Trap another opportunity of making a big enough army that you can't go up his ramp? Like, if Trap right now, because Classic did just throw it on his third Nexus, what if Trap sits very defensively on top of his ramps right now, just keeps making units for that, and goes directly into Disruptor Tech? That feels like in a situation in which there's a comeback possibility.
Also the fact that the third base is easy to hold, I think you make a good point there.
Yeah.
If Classic tries to attack and Trap holds it, well then Trap's basically survived this whole problem. And we go into a super late game PvP.
Well, Classic looks like he's going for the kill, though.
Yeah, Classic wants to come out and wants to try to get into a fight. This angle, though, not ideal for Classic here.
No, very good engagement there by Trap to start off with. Very clutch play. He needs moves like that right now. He needs to buy some more time. He did start +3, whereas Classic did not. Classic, I think, is really looking forward to just ending the game here because he does have that big advantage. But if you take your fights in just the right spots, you can get that defender's advantage.
Classic continuing to push forward. We see Trap retreating up onto his high ground. I'm sorry, where is Classic's Warp Prism? Is he going to fly that into the main and start warping?
I think it's right behind his army.
Okay. Oh, I think I saw the shadow of it for a second. Okay, so he's continuing to roam here.
Gosh, he has so many immortals.
Created a bit of a no man's land here. I would be surprised if either player tries to attack into that. Now, with the Warp Prism and 2 Archons, I think he's going to drop this behind the workers there and try to actually get a warp in. Here we go.
It's a smart move. He can get up the ramp now.
Because if he gets up the ramp, then he confirms there's not going to be a third base for Trap, and Classic wins in a very technical late game fashion.
Yeah, now that he's up here, I mean, this game is... What a clinical game from Classic, seriously.
He had great harass at the start, and then he's just played this positional game perfectly.
He really has.
And you could even see Trap trying to move out, blocked off by the army there. And Classic's third base is finished, by the way. So now he's just mining from his third. He's now leagues ahead economically from where Trap is. And I think very intelligently. So Classic just goes back home and defends the counterattack.
Okay, so I think that this is Trap's only chance to win the game right now. He has +3 against not +3, and their army supply is pretty close. So if he is going to win this game at all, it's right now.
The Warp Prism's going to go down. So the harass
nice
ends.
pick.
But can he actually get in here and do the damage? This bottleneck is very tight.
Oh, God,
Okay,
no,
good call there. He immediately turns around. He's going to move back up here.
If they're on flat terrain, maybe there's a chance. Going up these little ramps... I mean, the ramp is not even that little, but look at these armies.
Yeah, the ramps.
Can you imagine trying? What do you need to go up that ramp?
The ramps are little considering how much they have.
Any race tasteless, what do you need to go up that ramp?
You need a lot, man.
You need brood lords tasteless. It's the only way, and they fly, so it's not even a real answer.
Oh my God, he's going to try to come in now. Really good angling here from my Classic. He's got a pretty good arc, but I have to say, Travis kind of squeezed his way in here, and the warping position is really nice.
Yeah.
He actually might be able to engulf this a little bit further.
The Immortals are just too strong. See how there's still 5? There's 5 at the beginning of the battle. There's still 5. There's still only 1 for his opponent. Like, Immortals beat everything.
GG. Classic takes game 1.
Crazy.
In a really sophisticated PvP. That was actually pretty beautiful. I mean, the way Classic approached that, you can really see he knows exactly where to take his victories.
Yeah.
He's not really overextending. It wasn't a perfect game. I mean, he did lose a Warp Prism and a few other moves, but he knew exactly how to pick fights that were very difficult, especially that Oracle Warp Prism harass with the Immortal and the Stalkers and the Warp Prism. And then really elegantly shuts Trap out of a third base while Classic's getting his own, and then collapses back to defend his own base because he's already taken the lead. Trap has to do something. He can't just play from behind, and Classic holds. So good.
The level of skill that Classic displayed throughout that game was amazing. And it's not that Trap was bad. Trap kept trying to make things happen, and they didn't happen, unfortunately. I mean, he ended up killing some probes here and there, but I tell you, I feel like this is still going to be a very good match, though, because Trap got into a tough position right from the get-go and still fought really well and did a lot of things nicely.
Yeah. It's far from over. We're going to GSL Cobalt, one of our weirder maps here in the GSL, as this best of 7 continues. Again, the winner of Classic and Trap goes to the GSL Code S Finals.
Makers Classic. Jin Air Green Wings, Trap.
So one thing we just want to get out of the way early on here is that hidden bases have been a big theme on this map.
Yeah, they have.
Because this is our big map here. We've had a lot of 1v1 maps, and those are generally a little bit smaller. They don't have to be, but they generally are. And this is a huge 4-player map, and sometimes PvP can be so tight and action-packed early on that one player can just slip a hidden base, and as long as they're good with the defense back at home, if the other player doesn't find it, they will end up with a bad read on where they are economically, and you can win in the long run. I don't know if it's necessarily great PvP, but it's something we've definitely seen. All right, that's an excellently drawn Classic there.
You can't take a photo of someone and say it's poorly drawn. That's mean.
But we'll see if this is even a long game at all. I'm
Yeah.
actually surprised that game 1 went on in that kind of fashion. I mean, I'm happy to have a long PvP, but we've had so many short games.
Well, King's Cove is the ultimate defensive map, right?
Right.
So if you're going to have a longer one, it's probably that map, maybe Thunderbird. I feel like it's just in general, you almost never see mining third bases in PvP right now. I don't think that that's going to change in this game.
Yeah, things ramp up so fast in PvP. So we're going to watch now and try to see what the tech is going to be exactly. Last time it was a proxied Stargate that actually initially gave Classic the upper hand. I think he played it pretty excellently the entire way through.
I say I like trapping the probe in there, making sure that he confirms the kill.
Yep.
You don't want to just leave that probe out in the map like he's a little Mr. Bond. Things can go wrong later on.
This is a little technique where you put a pylon here because you want to see, are you going to cancel that or not? And it at least forces you to keep it going for a while. Doesn't appear that Classic's going to cancel that Stargate.
No, I don't think he is. And Trap has actually responded with his own Stargate. That's definitely a responsive Stargate, which tells me that Trap should be going Phoenixes with this. Now, Phoenixes don't beat Oracles like they used to. They used to be like, oh, he went Phoenix and he went Oracle. You know, you'd beat someone way better than your PvP. Be like, oh, did you go Phoenix and they went Oracle? Like,
yeah,
you know,
yeah.
that would be the way to describe it.
Well, there was also the situation where both sides before they had been forced to keep going Phoenixes once it started.
Yeah.
So the person who chickened out and stopped would usually end up winning a very quick air fight.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be exactly like that. Okay, he actually scouts it, it looks like. Wait a minute. Oh, yeah, okay, never mind. I was like, where is his sentry then? There it is. It's hiding in the corner so these adepts don't kill it. Anyways, he sees that it is Phoenixes. So it's Phoenix versus Phoenix at the moment. I don't think that they'll stay heavily on Phoenix like the old days. Although, to be honest, with the way PvPs have gone so far from that, I wouldn't mind seeing it.
Yeah, I'd be down for that.
It's been a long time.
We have the Twilight Council being made over here inside Trap's main behind the minerals. That Nexus is just finished up, but Trap's Nexus is actually not that far behind.
We have a bit of a probe lead right now for Trap. With that Twilight, we'll see where he wants to go with it. I would imagine into Blink. Doesn't necessarily have to be.
And we have both sides continuing to make Phoenixes here.
Sometimes you'll see someone rush into DTs against Phoenix. When you're both going Phoenix, you know?
Yeah.
Just look for that free win.
When that tech is neglected, that can be a really frustrating way to lose, but...
Well,
yeah.
and it's Phoenix versus Phoenix. The last thing you want is a Robo. You know, you really, if you can get away with not having one, that's superior. But Trap is gonna go ahead and just grab Blink here.
Yeah,
pretty normal
smart move. Now
Nice.
the Oracle's actually coming in here and getting a few kills. Looks like it's gonna get 3 and actually get out.
Ooh.
Oh wow, 4 even. I
Yeah.
didn't see that probe was coming out of the gas there.
Very solid. We'll end up losing it to this Phoenix, but you know, I like that he takes the risk there, grabbing that Oracle, and got some decent value out of it. Okay, Forge coming up for Trap. Meanwhile, Classic sitting back with his Robo.
Okay. Phoenixes are going to continue to roam out here for Classic.
Yeah, he's actually coming up with a decent amount of units, maybe looking to draw the army in one direction and harass with the other piece. But it's a long walk. We'll see how many units are at that natural. I'm not so sure right now.
This is also already becoming a completely different game than what we saw in Game 1.
Yeah, very much so.
Last game, because of a lack of Stargate units, you could be incredibly abusive with Warp Prisms.
Yeah, a game like this, you don't even want to make one almost. You
Yeah,
see, he's
yeah.
actually sent a probe to make a pylon.
Here comes forward. Blink just now finishes. And is Trap actually going to try to move out here?
Well, he's got Blink, so I think, yeah, why not? Get out here and mess up what Classic has. So this should make Classic really start focusing on getting into a lot of Immortals. Both of them do have Forges up, so that's going to be pretty similar. The question here for Trap is, do you try to stay very gateway heavy and either play aggressively or take more bases? Or are you going to go ahead and start your own Immortal production? And with 13 Blink Stalkers, I think he's answered our question for us.
Yeah. He's going to try to come up now. Keep in mind the Phoenixes can basically disarm some of the Stalkers in that fight, and And then with the Immortal here on the low ground, it looks like a fight that probably Classic can take as long as he executes things correctly.
Yeah.
But what if Trap tries to blink in somewhere crazy here? All right, a blink away immediately. It's either that or you try to blink onto the Immortal.
Yeah.
Probably not going to work against Classic, though.
Especially with that many Phoenixes in the air. Like, you can just be torn apart. Gets up here with his Phoenixes, realizing that these Stalkers are not a threat anymore. And he sees a probe waiting over near the third bases, which is what you would expect when someone has this many Blink Stalkers. You really need to utilize your gateway unit count, right? You're kind of more mobile than an Immortal-based army, so you've got to take your third quickly. And that's exactly what we see Trap doing.
If we see Classic aggressively moving into mid-game here with a lot of gateways, he's going to have a lot more muscle on the map. The Templar Archives has started as well. And Trap actually, I'm wondering how this is going to pan out for him because he's taking this Nexus. A lot of times in PvP, we see both sides power up on two bases. Even in StarCraft 1, I've even seen that as a kind of general understanding of Protoss.
Yeah.
Is that he who takes the third base too quickly is oftentimes not going to survive for long enough for that third base to really kick in.
Yeah, and that's what Classic's going to be going for here regardless. Like, he is 100% going to hit a big Immortal push. It's going to be like 3 Immortals plus 1 attack charge Archon. I would be surprised if he doesn't move out. You know, you have to be a little bit careful because if you lose that army one time when you're a little bit behind on bases, then you're going to be in a lot of trouble. But his army really is going to be just barely smaller and countering his opponents.
Okay, immediately Classic comes in here, gets a few pickoffs. Those Phoenixes had already scouted and confirmed that the third base was there.
Yeah, and I'm going to go ahead and retract that. It seems with how heavy... Oh my god, he loses the Prism.
Wow.
Well, the Prism is a big part of the attack, so he can't go until he gets it.
Prism, like, is the attack.
Yeah.
Without it, you can't reinforce.
But to be honest, with the amount of harassment he's done with the Phoenixes, now the Phoenixes aren't the most valuable thing in the whole world during the actual engagement, but it almost makes me feel like he wants to wait until his +2.
Yeah, it does seem like that. Well, he's taking his third now, and he might try to come in here a little bit later on. Again, Classic is pretty methodical in PvP. Even though we've had, historically, a lot of very crazy games PvP and GSL, it seems like so far as we go into Game 2, again, it's Classic just trying to navigate this into a game where he could just have enough boxes ticked off that when it comes time for the final fight, he's basically handled everything perfectly and he should have a minor lead. And I guess in this case, yeah, it's going to be that +2. Trap actually coming out here now that his base has been up and running for a little while, and he might try to get a little bit of positional play here and make it tough for Classic to actually move out.
Ooh, I don't know if this is going to work. He actually blinks in, starts targeting Archons here with his Stalkers, which means he's relying heavily on his charge lots.
+2
I don't think he has
here.
enough.
You know, this looked wrong before it happened.
Yeah.
But he's committing. The Archons are all over here on the left side. A lot of Immortals and Archons here for Classic.
And he needs to get something done with this attack, and it's not feeling like there's going to be enough done.
Yeah, War Prism very low, at risk of being targeted here. We have another Warpin coming now for Classic. Classic fends off that attack pretty easily.
And now Classic has just a gigantic lead.
Yeah,
he had a lead before, but it's bigger.
The attack timing just seemed a little bit weird, didn't it? Yeah, Classic's been on 2 bases powering up. His third base is later. Trap's third base had finished, but I don't know if that had really kicked in. And he also didn't have as much high-tech units.
You know, it used to be that if you were going charge blink with some Archons against the Immortal user, you would have a bit more supply and you'd have your third base quicker, and you'd basically try to deny their third and then kind of use your overwhelming unit count to counter the Immortals. Unfortunately, he never got into a position where that was very doable for him. He had a bunch of Blink Stalkers early on. They didn't really do anything. His third base wasn't that much quicker. Classic played a solid defensive game and continually harassed with his air units, so it's a tough one here for Trap. Who, again, I mean, he's playing very well, but Classic, oh my God.
That was huge. He just snipes the War Prism right out of the sky. And that was a full War Prism as well. I believe it was 2 Archons in there.
Yeah.
Snipes that immediately. And
his
actually,
army
I'm sorry, I wasn't looking at the mini-map for a second, but somehow these 2 armies have gone around each other.
Well, the Trap is not going to be able to hold on against
I don't
anything.
think
He has
so.
like less of just about everything actually.
Oh yeah, no, that's a very tiny army by comparison.
He's just trying to take out pylons right now. I mean, maybe if he's making like a Dark Shrine, there's some sort of miracle play that can occur.
Yeah, even though both these players are taking serious blows here, and yeah, I mean, I guess Classic's base is unpowered. I think that all the key economic points for Trap are going to get wiped out here.
Yeah, Trap is losing everything.
And
I guess both of them really are.
Classic has, I believe, the better army as far as tech units go, Archons and Immortals here.
Classically has one probe on the map, though.
Oh, that's
so
a good point.
That's, I mean...
But this is about to change, right? I mean, we haven't had any probes evacuated here by
What's
Trap.
Trap doing? I guess he's going to do a recall? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you want to fight that as Classic. Hey, look at that. He's actually, that's a great pickoff there with Trap's doing.
Okay, Classic's control has been pretty good here. Even with that many Archons, you know, the Stalker's not over here to help with the rest of this attack. They're actually isolated onto the low ground. I think Classic is still going to win this fight up there. Am I wrong about this?
Yeah, no, I think you're right. Right now he's trying so hard to actually take down the Immortals and Prisms. Because those are kind of, you know, if you have Blink Stalkers, you can eventually kill everything in the whole world. But
yeah,
Immortals are just too strong.
Another warp bit of 4 Stalkers, excuse me. He just used the Blink. Oh my god. Okay, a recall.
Oh,
hold on.
Oh my god.
He gets 3 back there. There's apparently a Zealot here.
Dude,
hold on a second. I think actually Trap's army is just better enough. And none of the gateways are powered yet. There's also no... Well, hold on.
No, Trap's got this. He's now got this.
He should actually cancel.
It's funny
one
that he
of those
made 2 pylons.
Yeah,
it's like doesn't...
Now there's 1 Archon though. Hold on. Whoop.
Oh, he doesn't quite have enough for another one. He's trying to get it, though.
Okay, he's got that. Actually, 2 Archons
there
could do
you
this,
go.
Sartosis. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, he's going to kite this pretty well. Hold on.
Oh, I'm surprised how hard he's diving on that Archon. I feel like you pick off the Stalkers and then everything's done.
Everything goes a little bit easier.
Yeah, he's got it. Wow, what a win by Trap. I'm really, like, he really was in a worse position there.
This is so crazy.
That's like an SOS victory right there. Oh,
yeah,
man.
He could just abuse the placement of the buildings. Look at that. He's never going to get touched. And Trap in a miracle play. Oh, my God.
Wow. Oh, my God. Classic's face right now really is kind of showing the entire range of emotions for that game. Classic actually outdid Trap for basically the entire game. Then the armies walked around each other. It's like, shut up, tasteless. Nothing's going to happen. Classic's army's so much better. And then Trap miraculously peels everything apart, does a recall, picks off the Prism and Immortal, and all the Immortals, rather. Damn. And then Blink wins the day.
You know, I do wonder about the second pylon. He made 2 pylons to power his gates.
I guess it was to get the Archons.
No, he didn't need it. He could have had 1 pylon at the gateway cluster on the left. That's like 5 gateways right there.
Oh, yeah. If you can power 4 gates, you're 100% right.
Yeah.
Then maybe he can get 2 Archons
and he's like
and
a Zealot or something.
Yeah.
Anyways, we're going to go to a break. We come back. This PvP Best of 7 continues.